Hey guys, Amy here with Leap of Faith Crafting. Thanks so much for stopping by. So today we are going to be making a cute name wooden puzzle with my XTool F1 flow, and I do have a discount code down there too that you can always grab if you are interested in starting with these amazing engraving machines. So this we're going to go through, and I'm going to show you where I got the file to make these and then how to set it up within Creative Space, and then how to cut it out and quickly put it together. So a great, really a fun idea for anyone, and you can make it however you want, any colors you want, anything like that. We were just going to be needing two, I'm using two of these long pieces of the basswood in this, and then I'm going to be using some paint pens, some Mod Podge, and then just some wood glue. Really not, you don't need a lot of materials to make this. And then again, I'm using my XTool F1 with the slider that's already in place. So let's hop in to XTool Creative Space and start designing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to create this within the XTool Creative Space. So I'm just going to show you first where I got the actual SVG, and I will link all this below. I am using something from Creative Fabrica, which I have the yearly subscription. We are going to be using this alphabet puzzle here. I'm just going to download this and extract these files here. And then I also used this car. This was just an extra thing I added on it. Totally optional, but I'm going to grab this car SVG file also. So I've just downloaded both of those on my computer, and now we're going to go into Creative Space here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on image on that left side, and I'm going to open up my alphabet puzzle and then just copy this SVG. Mine says Microsoft Edge since I'm on using that. I'm just going to say no, display it to its original size, and we are going to zoom out here. Okay, so this is how the file comes in. So you have two boards that are the same size. One of them we're going to cut out of, and then one's going to be the bottom. So these can all be resized if you want. And then you'll notice on each letter, there's an inside letter that's going to be cut, and then a little slightly bigger one that has the little semicircle on it, and that is to get the fingers in the board to open it up. So it just makes it easier for kids or whoever to open that. So we are going to use that. So up here, just real quick, I'm using my F1, and on here I picked my laser extension. That's why we have a long area here to work with. Okay, so for each one of these, I'm actually just gonna grab all of these because all of these are gonna be cut. So over here on my processing type, I'm gonna go ahead and click on cut. Okay, so each of these now, when I click on them, they will be cut. So one of them will be cut fully, one of them will be cut with the letters. Okay, and you'll see that in a minute. So I am going to do the name Henry. So I'm actually going to delete off everything but those letters. And actually I'm going to group just so these stay together. I'm going to drag my cursor over here and hit on that group. And we're going to move that there. And then I'm just going to delete off all the ones I don't need. For the N, we're going to group this one. Move that one over. Same thing with the R. Okay, so that is kind of how we're going to have it. So I'm going to just kind of move those kind of separated how I want it. So then I'm going to actually go, oops, let's drop that down. I'm just going to click down and drag over all of them. So these are selected. I'm going to go into my align, and I'm going to distribute these horizontally. So these will center so that they are equidistant apart. And then I also want to align them. I'm going to do it to the bottom so that they are all straight together. I'm going to go ahead and group this together so I can move these around as one. And so at this point, you know, you can make things bigger or smaller to fit the board a little bit more. I'm going to add that car in here. So I'm actually going to probably make these, I'm going to unlock the size up here. It's locked right here, but if I unlock it, then I can actually move them separately of each other. I'm just going to move those in, make some taller. Okay, so then I'm going to add the car. So you can do, they do have different shapes and things in here. Let's see what they actually have a car. A soccer ball or something like that. So they do have options in here if you want to do a basic shape. I'm going to go ahead and insert, I'm going to go to image and we're going to insert that car. So the car keychain, I'm going to grab that SVG again and it comes in here. Okay, so for the car, I don't want that circle and I also want it a little bit bigger and have that outline around it. So with the car, I'm going to actually come up here and click on outline. And then I'm going to make this really small, an offset distance of about 0.02. Okay. And so when I do the offset, it actually doesn't do the circle offset there. So, which is, I don't want that circle. I don't want it to come out. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one off. So with this car, we're actually going to kind of put it right in here. But we also want to make it so it's easy to take out. So you can see here, you can kind of see that outline. So let's do 0.03. 0.25. Okay, that one looks kind of similar to the other ones. Let me bump that up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you see here that we have that, let me ungroup it also. So you see we have that inside shape and then this one already had that slight outline on it. So that's what I'm making over here. So I'm actually going to move this one aside and then I'm going to add a little half circle to this one. So what I'm going to do is just click on insert and circle. And then I'm going to unlock it so I can make it more oval like. Kind of like the other ones. So we will kind of leave it like that. So now, so I want these connected to each other so it's just one cut. I'm going to click down, drag over both of these so they're both selected. We're going to come up to combine and unite these. And you'll see it turns into just that one outside. And over here, you can see that this is actually set to score because I didn't change this car one. So I want to make sure I set that to cut. And then I want to make sure this is set to cut. Okay, and I'm going to put this right back in here and get it centered. Okay, and then we are going to group this one. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out. And I'm going to grab these again just to regroup these since I ungrouped them. And then we are going to center these where we want them. I'm going to click on this one, hold my shift and click on this one. And this one I'm going to align. Let's see if we align it vertical just so it's a little more centered. And then I'm going to actually group these together. And then I'm going to drag over all of these so it selects both of them. And we're going to align this now vertical center. and horizontal. So that should be centered there. The one thing with those little half circles is it doesn't totally look centered with the letters, but that's just how it is. So I'm going to go ahead and group these now. Okay, and everything is set to cut. I want to make sure over here. Okay, so when this one cuts, everything's going to be cut. So it's going to cut our around. And obviously we can make these bigger if we want. Right now it's only about a 3-inch puzzle. I just want to make everything the same size. So I'm going to grab both of these, select both of them, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So then this one, we're going to need to cut them both. So the first one, since I don't want them both cut at the same time, I'm going to have to actually ignore this one. So up here on the vector, I can hit ignore. So then that tells my machine not to cut this one out. So we will come back in and cut that one out second. But this one has the output, so my machine will cut this one out. Click off it. I'm doing the 3mm basswood. Again, everything is on cut. It already puts in those preferences for me. Okay, so you can see also on my extender here, I put 2 clamps on it since I am making something pretty big and I don't want the laser to go over it. I have the clamps just on the edges here. Actually, I'm going to push it back. I didn't focus it yet, so I'm going to turn the wheel in so that blue and red line are on top of each other. I'm going to do some framing. Okay, so that's the beginning of it. And so if I turn the wheel, it's going to go all the way down. So I'm just making sure it doesn't hit any of those clamps there. Okay, it ends there, so that's good. I'll make that clamp go a little bit more. Okay, so you can see, if you can see that blue line there, that's where it is starting. And then as I turn the knob and it moves, okay, I just want to make sure it's not going to hit that clamp there, which it's not. Okay, so we are going to hit OK. Done here, stop framing, and we are going to go to process. Pull my top down and hit start. And then we're going to push R. Okay, so the machine stopped. There goes my thing. So, a couple things learning here. I'm going to take this off. Okay, so you can see this is going to be the top part. Okay, so the one thing I did, that's why I told you to be careful. This thing was down too far and it hit on the edge where the clamp was, and it came over and cut a little bit here, and then it got off center, so it ended up overlapping. So I'm going to, we will see, you can see it hit this letter too, and these are just those outlines I'm going to take off. So I'm going to go ahead and sand it. This one, I'm going to try to put a little bit of glue in that and sand it, but again, note, if this is all the way down and your thing is really big, it hits it and it's not happy. So just be wary of that. If you're doing a smaller one and everything is outside where it would knock into these things when the lid is down, and then you don't need to worry. I just brought a fan in here and started blowing in there. So here are all our letters, and the outside of them we're going to take off, so you can see how nicely that cut around there. So that just gave it that extra room for when they put it inside. And anything with an inside piece, you're going to want to keep that, because we are going to have to glue that onto our board. Okay, so we have our letters. Okay, so then we're going to cut out that backboard. So I'm just going to put another board on my machine here. Okay, so these clamps you can slide and put anywhere you want. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up here and put a clamp down here. You just lift up on the little round things. And again, I'm just going to put it just at the top there so it doesn't get hit. And we're going to go. Okay, so now for the bottom one, we want to go through and actually hide all of this and then just use that as an output. So actually I'm going to click on this and click on output. Let's see if it will let me do. I'm just going to drag my finger over so it got all of those. I'm going to hit ignore. And then the one on output, I'm just going to move down and put it on top about where it was before. Okay, and again, if we hit framing, we will see where that will go. Okay. Okay, so now if you'll notice when we go into process, it just has the outline. Okay, so all those other things are ignored, so you can't see it. So we're just doing that outline there. Go ahead and click start on my laptop. I'm just gonna push this down a little bit, but so I make sure it doesn't hit these clamps on there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and push my go button, and I'm gonna turn my fan on. And let that cut out. If you're going to have this up a little bit, you want to make sure you have some kind of protective wear for the laser light. So I'm going to go ahead and you just kind of pull up on these. Okay, so this is going to be, zoom out, the bottom piece. And then we're going to glue this on top of this. Okay, so again, I'm going to go ahead and sand all of this, and then I'm going to paint the letters. And you can use paint pens, you can use acrylic paint, chalk paint, whatever you want to use. Since little hands will be touching them, I'm going to go ahead and put a coating on top of them. And then I'm going to add wood glue to the back of my puzzle and apply it to that tops, making sure it's totally aligned. Then I'm going to use some clamps to hold down that glue. Okay, so I let this dry for 24 hours, and here is that puzzle all finished. So, and again, the letters. So with the paint pens, you do get kind of some lines in there, but I actually kind of like that look, so I left it that way. But you could definitely use acrylic paint, spray paint, anything like that. And then these just sit right in here. Okay, and ready to be given as a gift. So if you're giving it to a baby that might mouth things, you might just want to, I've read that milk paint is a good alternative, or you might need to use shellac to do that, or you just need to tell whoever you give it to that it's not something that can be put in the mouth. I did, as I said, I put Mod Podge on these, which is non-toxic, so in case they do get to the mouth for just a few seconds, it is fine, but probably better to give to maybe a toddler or older that doesn't still put things in their mouth all the time. Okay, so I hope that helped getting you started using the XTool F1 and making a cute name puzzle. So anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss any more tutorials, and happy crafting.